Okay, hello and welcome back to the Land Rover Toolbox videos. So we're continuing with the diagnostics and repairs of this Td5 Discovery 2, which is presently a non-starter. We've come to the conclusion that possibly the fuel pump in the tank is actually not working properly. So we've gone ahead and checked the power feed to the pump, and I have a little bit of a confession to make. I didn't notice actually that we had a voltage drop, if you look at the corner down here, of about 0.5 volts on the feed wire to the pump. That is just about acceptable. The most important thing on a circuit is to check for voltage drop, and earth to earth, as we said in the last video, is a way of telling what sort of voltage is actually being lost. That is, it will tell you that you'll have corrosion possibly on connectors on the earth or on the feed wire. This is acceptable. 0.5 volts is something you need to look at, but this one is okay. We also did an amps draw feed test. Now, I wouldn't expect you to have any equipment like this. This is just for demonstration purposes, but we can tell if a pump is worn or not. So this one here is not drawing enough amps, and the pump, the way it's turning contacts to contacts, is very irregular. So basically we also confirmed that the pump is not pumping very well with a pressure test. Now this is the best way that you can check your fuel delivery to the pressure regulator, is with a gauge that is capable of showing more than 8 bar. Right, so I'm just showing you there is a diesel flow here because the pump, or the pump that we're going to change, is actually pumping some sort of diesel. Right, and if you remember, we've seen the video that it is actually doing just under 1 bar, which is technically is the low pressure pump pressure. Okay, you can see here that the diesel flows okay, so this is a pump condemned. So we've got two pumps here. On the left hand side we have one that is a second hand, sent to us by a friend, and you can see here it's apparently is in good working order. However, it has collected muck in the bottom. The top feeds have not been blocked off either, so there is a chance there is dirt in this unit, which I'm not going to put on the vehicle. It needs cleaning first. What we do have is a brand new unit, which is a VDO. This is German made, and it is quality. You can see by the markers that it has been hand checked. Okay, so if I can bring it down here, I'll show you that is made in Germany, not China. Okay, so VDO also make the mass airflow sensor for this engine, and I trust this. These also make tachographs for lorries. Right, so basically we have ourselves a brand new pump. You see the pen markers on there, it's been hand checked. So we will be fitting this one to the vehicle. Depending on what vehicle you have, it will be dependent on what pump you have. Either the Td5 Discovery or the 90 Td5 or 110, 130 Td5. Now we have WFX000280 for the Discovery 2. Just as a matter of interest, this thing here is the auxiliary heater pipe takeoff. Okay, so on your pump you have 4 pipes that are connected, and you have an electrical connection, and the pump is retained by a ring. These will need to be removed before we take the pump out. So with the electrical connector we push 2 screwdrivers down each side. This will open out the connectors so we can take it off like so. Easy done. Don't try and pull it, bend it or twist it. It could cause problems. Okay, so the contacts are good. Well, we know that anyway because we already saw the voltage drop on it. And then for the fuel connectors, it's just push the tabs in and push the pipe out like so. Couldn't be easier. Keep these as clean as possible, and you'll possibly need to wipe around the area before you dismantle and check that you get no dirt in on the green side. Okay, right, I'll get those out of the way and then we can get the pump out. Now I have a fuel sender removal tool, and it works on quite a few different vehicles. ESR 3808 is for the Discovery 2. Fuel pump spanner is from Paddock at £12.50 excluding VAT. This is PM353 part number. This is the Discovery 2 locking ring, and the D1 locking ring for the tank will be like this. So if you're mindful of your pipes, you can use the tool to remove the locking ring. Alternatively, you could use something like a chisel, but I wouldn't recommend it. Okay, so we can go ahead and lift the pump out, being mindful of the pipes and the wiring again. At the bottom there, you should also be aware that there is a fuel sender float, so carefully lift it out. You don't want this dropping in the tank. And you'll also see that it has quite a bit of diesel left in here, and this can be recovered and poured back into the tank. You will also need a new sealing ring with your pump, as it's not supplied. We're also going for a locking ring, which is ESR3808, and this is a genuine part from Paddock. And right, I'm going to show you about this pump quickly. The seal does not fit on there. I'm going to show you how to fit it properly and how not to fit it. First of all, you'll be aware that the pump has a spring on it, and it needs to be compressed to be able to fit the locking ring on. Okay, this float here will always go into the tank first. Always with diesel equipment, you should make sure that everything is clean as possible, and we're leaving the bung plugs in until we're ready. Right, so this is the wrong way to fit the pump, is to put the seal on the pump and try and fit it into place. It will not go, and you will not be able to fit the locking ring into place however hard you push this down. The correct way is to fit the seal to the tank aperture first, like so, and I'll just quickly show you that you have a lip around here on the aperture, or the hole if you like, and the seal fits in like such. So you have the beveled part towards the tank, okay, like so. And I'd make sure if there's any grit or anything like that, it is wiped off before you fit the tank pump into place. Okay, so the seal is there. This is how it fits. So you can see the lip on it, okay, that goes into the tank. Right, so this will make it much easier to push into place, and you can see here that you also have a locating tab. This needs to go exactly like this, so it's located correctly. So once that's done, you can put your locking ring on, and that will go on very easily. And just nip it up. Do it hand tight first, and then pull it around a little bit. If you go too far, it probably will pop out again. Right, so you can see the connectors are a little bit dirty, and I'll wipe them off before I attach them. And you must get the colours right, otherwise the vehicle will not run. Electrical connector just pushes into place. Now, what I didn't notice when I fitted this, actually, that one of the connectors came up, or it popped out, and it wasn't making connection. You can see here the earth was not connected and the pump didn't run until it was rectified or pushed back into place. But hey ho. Right, these connectors that you get on the bungs, they are actually the connectors for the pipe, so you can use them if your connectors are broken. Easy to fit, like so. They just push on, and to remove them you have to lift up the two tabs where I'm putting the screwdriver, one and then the second one here, and the old one will slip out. Anyway, they should be okay, so it's just a matter of pushing the pipes back in carefully, and we're there. This pump now is going to be bunged, and then we'll look at it later. We might be able to repair it. So anyway, after repairing or fitting the connector, we're turning the ignition on and priming the system. Okay, so that's 5 pushes on the pedal, and this will flash up. This will tell you you have your diesel priming sequence. This will run the pump on a high pressure sequence, and it will, well, supposedly purge the engine. So while we're doing this, we're having a look at the ripple wave, or the waveform for the motor contacts, and you can see compared to our old one that it is actually much better. It's much more even. Okay, you can see the two peaks, low peaks, and everything else is irregular along here on our old pump. With the new pump fitted, it is getting to 14, nearly 15 amps. Okay, and this waveform is even. Okay, so now we're looking at the pressure, and this will flick between 5 and 7. Okay, the pump has now just turned off. I'll just quickly bleed the air out of this system, and what you're seeing here, okay, is the motor actually working. If the gauge had glycerine in it, it would be a lot more damped. You wouldn't see this violent needle flick, but it's over 4 bar. It's between 5 and 7 bar, which is normal. Okay, so we have fuel up and the engine is actually now running. I didn't film the cranking over it because it did take some effort to crank it. You could hear it was going to start, so I carried on, but the camera was not switched on. However, there was a lot of smoke come out because this engine has been sitting for a long while and the diesel system still has a little bit of air in that needs to be purged. And the smoke was actually that bad that the neighbours were going berserk about it. But she's running now. We still have a few more problems to sort out. Once this has been running a while, we'll be able to do more diagnostics on it because it's not perfect yet. So basically, well done guys for helping us out with suggestions of what could be wrong with this vehicle. And now she's running again.